This is my 992 911 4S. It's my first Porsche and the most expensive car I've ever owned. But to be honest, for what it costs, it's kind of boring. So today we're adding 4 essential mods to make this car feel, sound, and perform like it should have come from the factory. Now, before we get started with the modifications, it's always a good idea to see where you start. So let's take the car over to our in-house dyno and get a good baseline. Now, to ensure consistency and repeatability, instead of taking our best run or our worst run, what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 runs back to back to back. We're going to average the results and review them back at the shop. All right, so our baseline power numbers came in at 418 horsepower to the wheels and 393 foot-pound torque. But while those numbers are pretty good, they're about to get a lot better. Speaking of making things better, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drastically enhance the way this car sounds with an APR exhaust. These are stainless steel, and as you'll notice, mine's a little bit weathered because I've actually been testing it for over a year, and I absolutely love it. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to be adding our famous valve controller, which is a total game changer, whether you have a bone stock exhaust or an aftermarket exhaust like APR. So let's throw it on and I'll show you how good this car can sound. All right, check this out. Ready? We have my OEM PSE exhaust and our APR. Check out the muffler size difference. You have this massive muffler over here and this little tiny muffler. Now, I will say this muffler does way more than you think it would, and it's crazy to think the actual size difference. Again, it does have the valves, and with the Kies valve controller, which we're going to install in just 1 minute, it's going to maximize the full potential of this exhaust. It's also, as you can imagine, a little bit lighter. It's super easy to install. Speaking of that, if you're interested in learning how to install this product or the others we're going to be talking about in today's video, we have step-by-step DIYs for you down in the description below. With that, let's throw the exhaust on, we'll throw a Kies valve controller on, and then we'll give you a sneak peek on what it sounds like. All right, right now we have the exhaust and our Kies valve controller fully installed. If you guys didn't know, what Porsche does is the exhaust valve, when you think it's just gonna be all the way open, it's not. What they do is they modulate it, which is going to reduce the volume out of your exhaust. So Joe, give us some revs with the valves closed. Sounds pretty good, but let's open up those valves. It already sounds like a totally different car, but just wait, because later on in the video, when we flash it with APR Stage 1, we're going to be able to remove the soft limiter to rev it all the way up to make it sound like this. As you've heard, this exhaust and this valve controller setup completely changed the way this car sounds, but now it's time to make sure that the car can breathe easy with a dry carbon fiber matte intake from APR. right, at this point, all the physical mods are fully installed on the car. There's just one more thing I need to do, and that's actually my favorite thing, and it's tuning. What I'm going to do, I'm going to upload an off-the-shelf APR Stage 1 tune using 93 octane. I want to make sure that this map is stable and I can get gas just about anywhere. It's no special race gas or anything like that. It is a great daily driving map. So let's flash the car and then we'll run it on the dyno. All right, we just got done doing 3 runs with our new APR mods and our Kies valve controller, and here are the results. From earlier in the video, our stock numbers were these first 3 here. We had an average of 418 horsepower to the wheels, 393 foot-pound torque. Let's see the difference that APR made. With an average of 495 horsepower to the wheels as our peak number, and for the torque, we landed at 488. Excellent numbers. So as you can see, we gained by an average of 77 horsepower at our peak and 95 torque. If you take a look at the graph, there's actually a lot more power than what those numbers sound like. As you can see with our stock tune, the power came in and then it basically just kind of tweedled out and drifted away. When we put these APR mods on with the Kies valve controller, check this out. This is the torque. It sends you straight into your seat and keeps you there the entire duration of the entire gear. If you take a look at the horsepower, here's the factory one. It started to go and it started to build and then it just kind of leveled off and died. If you take a look when we put APR on, this thing went and it just pulled and it just kept pulling all the way to redline. If you look at some of these differences, like look at this giant difference. Sometimes you're getting about 100 horsepower gain throughout the rev range. So while the peak horsepower and torque sounds nice and they're good bragging rights, this right here, the actual graph where it shows you being put in your seat, that is where the magic happens. Now to give you guys a real world application on what this looks like at the track, we beat you to it. We took this car just the other day. We ran a 10 8/4 mile at 128 miles an hour. So this got us a 10-second car. So as you've seen with just 4 modifications, we made this car sound, feel, and perform like it should have come from the factory. And as a bonus, we broke into the 10-second quarter mile range, which is absolutely amazing. Again, with just 4 modifications. So if you're looking to upgrade your Porsche, be sure to see the links down in the description. We have links to everything we installed today. If you need tailored assistance, reach out to my team, info@kies.com, info@kies.com. Be sure to give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.